Here we go. Here we go. Okay, here we go. We're talking again. This is Raw Talk with Respect with the Mainstream. And we're talking tonight about some things that were going on today with Mr. Trump, President of the United States, along with Bob Woodward's new explosive book. Now, my question to society really would be that what else needs to happen? That's the main question. What else needs to happen for anybody to really see what's going on around you? Or we just want to act like we don't see it. We just want to go hold on to it. The truth is that we see what we see, but we can act like we don't, but it doesn't change the reality of what's going on around us and how it affects everyone else. And so, in part of this, if you don't know who Bob Woodward is, world-renowned reporter, Watergate reporter, broke the news, Nixon. He does his due diligence. He's the person that he does not mess around. He knows and does and has contacts. And with any aspect of life, a lot of times it's who you know, not always what you know, because a lot of times what you know will not ever be verified because the people that will verify it will never say a thing unless they respect you, unless they agree with you, unless it's so paramount and explosive that it needs to be said. My question is the people that listen and understand what's going on around them, are they really listening? And if so, what are you going to do about it? What else needs to happen for you to hear what's going on? The book, in case you haven't seen, is going to be this right here. That's the book. That's the book that we're talking about tonight with Bob Woodward. Bob Woodward is a person that came out and told everybody about what's going on behind the scenes, and definitely a person that you can give great credibility to. And if you don't believe me, don't just look through one site or one online activity. Look at his history. Look at what he's done. Look at what he's wrote about and told you about that was true. And then give a little credibility to that. Don't take my word for it. We're just here talking about it. But the truth is, unless you really take the time to do your due diligence and find out for yourself, you're like what we call sheep. You're going to follow. I don't want you to follow. I just want to wake you up and make you think about a few things. And I'm going to have some other guests joining me tonight to talk about this subject and a couple of other things I want to talk about along with sports. My ADD is kicking in tonight, so y'all going to have to deal with that. But it's all good because we're talking about Raw Talk. But I assure you, the people that are going to be on here have something to say, very smart and intelligent. I have nothing but respect for them. And one of my guests has joined me now, Mr. Sam. We're talking about Bob Woodward and what he said today and the response from the GOP and from Trump. And whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, the reason I say that out loud is because I don't want to get to the point of someone's trying to paint you into a box of how you believe and how you don't believe. I want to know what you think, well-rounded wise, not just because you believe a way or the other way, but just really what you think outside the box. And thank you for joining, Sam. And let's get this bad boy started. Let's have a conversation, brother.
Absolutely. Thank you for inviting me. I'm just catching up, just joined. So I'm going to be a fly on the wall.
Tell me what you think about the Bob Woodward explosive book. I want to know as a consumer, tax-paying American, I know you have a dog in the fight, but as much as you can take yourself away from that and look at it from an objective point of view, I like to know what you're thinking. If you can do that as much as possible, and that's tough, but if you can.
Well, I'm lost. I haven't even had the opportunity to check the book out. So,
well, to enlighten, no worries. To enlighten you a little bit, Bob Woodward is a well-renowned, respected journalist. He is the top of
The
his
problem.
game. Let me go ahead and mute you. You're mute real quick. He's at the top of his game. Bob Woodward is he's he is the person of the person that when he says something, you can't just discount it. You can't say, "Oh, he's full of shit. He don't know what he's talking about." Blah blah blah. He's not that type of person. So when he says that in a book, and in his book, these are recordings that he's had with President Trump and what President Trump said concerning the coronavirus back in January. And then again, a couple of months before now. And in this interview, Bob Woodward has the president telling him that he knows that the coronavirus is going to be a major, major deal. He knows that a lot of people are going to die, but he can't say that because it's going to create a worldwide panic. So they have to play it down. He then reiterated this a few months later, and the public has now got a taste of what he's been saying behind the scenes. I'll even add to that. Today, the federal government took over Donald Trump's case against his sexual assault case with that woman that was on Esquire because he's trying to have immunity on that. Because if he does that, he can stop being president if he doesn't win and have his vice president go ahead and wipe the boards clean, if you will. If he does become president, it's not an issue. Um, these are things that are documented. These are things that are there. I just want to know, how do we navigate that, and whether we believe or agree with them or not, or whatever it may be, any other person that we deal with on an everyday basis, how would we interact with them based on what you know right now? How would you interact? No dog in the fight, just by someone telling you there's documented evidence and they're listening to you on tape saying these things, whether it be people that served the country and died for you or losers on tape, whether it be you're saying that coronavirus is going to be bad, real bad, but you can't tell the public, and then you tell the public it's okay. We got to we got to want better than that. We got to accept better than that. And I don't care who gets mad, who disagrees. Facts are facts. I can't change them. I can't change the recording. It is what it is. And so, not just because you're a black man and you deal with some other things that most people don't, but you're intelligent enough to decipher the difference and understand what's going on around you. I want to hear what your perspective is of it.
Is that a question for me?
That is correct, sir. That's why you're joining. You're on live here. They're watching you talk right now.
Right, right, right. Well, for me, um, what we've been hearing and been seeing, it's definitely disturbing. Um, so when it comes down to it, everybody got to play their own part and vote, so we can get this guy, whoever don't respect or like what this guy's doing, to help get him out of there. Just can't keep sweeping it under the rug. When you keep sweeping it under the rug, and a lot of us really just ain't, like I say, it's just disturbing, man, to even really talk about it with me. So I'm kind of in the position to where I pay attention, but at the same time, it's guys like yourself that's really bringing it to my awareness. So,
Well, tell the truth. I mean, this is raw. This is raw talk, and this is how you say what you feel. Your feelings matter, and what you feel may be different than someone else's. But you're articulate enough and respectful enough to do so. But the truth is, I'm trying to not only reach you, I'm trying to reach anybody else that's listening to you that may have various different reasons and maybe not able to come to the same conclusion or different conclusions, but trying to work it out. And we're just trying to give them some facts. We're trying to say, hey, this is what's going on around you. Pay attention. Come to your same conclusion, whatever that may be to you. But the truth is, you can't change what's there. And so I don't want to convince anybody of anything. I'm just trying to lay it out, and I want to know what you think. And that could be no wrong. That means how you feel. Kind of like talking to your girl or your significant other. There's no right or wrong. That's just how they feel. You have to respect how they feel and why they feel that way. Try to figure out why they do. I'm trying to figure out why they do. And if you still feel that way about that person, what makes you feel that way when you didn't before a year or two or three ago? I find it hard to believe that someone, if I walked up and said something about your veteran, I find it hard to believe if I found out I walked up and said something about your wife, that you would welcome me, unless there's something that you are doing so outside the norm that I'm selling what I am to perpetrate what you are. And I just don't know. We can say we wouldn't do it. The truth is, we lying. There's a price. I don't know what it is, but some people will. They'll say, "No, I wouldn't." Okay, I hear you, OJ. Okay, the
Mhm.
truth is, there's a reason you do, and maybe we'll never know that. But the masses see, and that's what's who affected by that with the COVID, single moms not having a job, things of that nature. And man, they're suffering out here. I hear it every day long, every day, all day long. I speak to some very astute businessmen like yourself. I talk to some very intelligent cats that are in school, as far as a professor or teachers or principals. Um, they don't say a lot of things, man, because they know that they have a lot of pushback. And if they do, they may lose their job. We're in a society now that is not only cancel culture, but also is, if you say something out of line and someone gets mad at you, then you just might well hang it up. And you got kids to feed, you got a husband or wife to take care of. And so when that's apparent to you, how do you navigate that?
Well, for me, I mean, you got to do what you got to do, and listening to a lot of times what BS when it comes from um, different sources who think a particular way, do things in a particular way, and got things pretty much set up for them. But when it come down to coming from poverty, where I'm coming from, and really, well, we don't really get into the politics, but now today with this COVID, it's definitely a game changer. So you got a lot of guys paying more attention and kind of getting more involved. But in the midst of getting involved, you still want to keep the main thing, which is take care of the family. So for me, like I said, it's simple, man. I'm gonna get out there, just like they doing all what they doing. They say the COVID has been put out there, man made, and everything that's being said. You got to be careful. Don't get caught up in all this smoke and mirrors, and forget really what's going on. And this guy end up being back in office, and we're doing a lot of talking, but really not a lot of action. So man, you just got to do what you got to do. For one, get outside the box and be creative. You know, I mean,
Why do
it's
I got a question
challenging.
for you?
Yeah.
Honest truth. Why don't black people vote?
Well, they think they don't really got a dog in the fight, and they think it really doesn't matter. So I've been seeing it's getting a lot of better, but at the same time, you got the more things change, the more they stay the same, and they thinking, well, this don't matter, and then for the same reason they're not trying to be financially independent. We're not outnumbered, we're just out organized. So that's why a lot of them don't vote because they really don't think it matters. And I
You,
can see where they're coming from.
I think a lot of times the organization is communication. I think the organization is there. I think the communication is absolutely not there. It's that hate to say it, it's like the crab syndrome. Facilitating someone that's successful to be more successful because that benefits you. Um, in truth, I think a lot of times we're sheep. We believe, we follow, and to not follow is just really different than how you've been raised and understand how things should be. And that's not everyone, that's the masses. And that's a deeper subject. And there's anomalies, there's people that stand out. I won't say the anomalies. There's some people that stand out that say, hey, I'm going to do it my way because I know how to, and I'm intelligent enough to navigate that. But a lot of times, if you're able and intelligent to navigate that, and then you have some other things that will pull you back, that will make it a little bit harder for you to navigate that, it's not as easy as you can make a couple of mistakes and still do what you need to do. A couple of mistakes for you, it's not going to make it. It's just not. And I think it's the part I'm trying to understand is how to communicate that with people that are sympathetic, want to believe and want to understand, but at the same time want to wrap their head around why I could be that way, how I could be that way, because they're not that way. Because I have several friends that are just very different. They're very intelligent, and they're not don't look like me, don't think like me, but they generally cannot wrap their head around with the things that sometimes I show them and say to them. Um, it's it's infuriating to them. It pisses them off. They say something about it. They do something about it, but ultimately they're fighting a tidal wave just like you are. So how does that other person that doesn't look like you? How does he fight that too? Even if he believes in your cause and says, "Hey, wrong is wrong and right is right," but he still has to deal with that other side. You know what I mean when I say that?
Yeah, yeah. Well, again, that's gonna boil down to inner truth. Knowing yourself. Your heart. It's really ain't got no education. This ain't really got nothing to do with education and wealth when it comes down to the heart. When you get to the heart of the matter, just certain things a person, will or will not do. Uh, so, and this ain't taught in no class. This, a feeling, and we all, should really. I mean, we move off the feelings anyway because it could get emotional and touchy for some people, and then on top of thinking about what other people are gonna say about them, and how uh, what they gonna do or what they gonna say. Sometimes I have the person want to do right, do wrong, but when they do that, it's not in the heart. So when it all boils down to it, is it come from the heart. So if you feel it, then you'll do what's right, versus letting that slide uh, because you're gonna tolerate or somebody's gonna and it's gonna be some backlash if you say that. It coming into a cowardly thing, but it's an inner thing. So they got to work on self.
So if your family, your say your grandfather, he didn't tell your family that he had this virus, COVID, and say it could cost some of your family members their life, and he knew about it, but he didn't tell nobody. Then 3 months later, he can't not tell anybody, so he has to tell you what's going on. But then you find out he knew. That's your family member. This is your patriarch. This is your leader. How do you feel about that, honestly?
It's bullshit, honestly. Family ain't got nothing to do with it. If he knew and he's selfish, he a lot of things. A lot of things can come out of that because if you knew you got, I don't care what type of disease it is, and you willingly, coming around these people or, just going about your day as nothing happened, when bottom line, you're selfish. And I mean, I can say a lot of things about that, but just selfish, to kind of sum it up. Just a selfish individual, not thinking of no one else but themselves. If they do anything to that magnitude.
Why do they do that?
Selfish. Selfish.
You think that's all? You really think that's all?
No, no, no. But how many you need? I mean, one to do.
Pretty inspective. That's very, very true.
Yeah,
You
you
really
don't need
don't.
no 10. What you give them too many things because it is a variety of things. It's a seed and it stems for a lot of things. But that's where the confusion come in. At when you try to explain two or three, now you want to try to break those down. And hey, we're missing the point here. Hey, if selfish is that'll cut it for me. You don't have to push me three times. You know what I'm saying? You got to give me three different type of ways to say no. Hey man,
It's
no. You know what I'm saying?
interesting that you say that. That's true. That's very perspective when you say that. The truth is, I deal with some people that I talk to, whether it be white, black, Hispanic, woman or man, any kind of affiliation, what they are, they call themselves, and a lot of times they say, "Well, that's not enough to prove to me that this person is not who they are." Consistency is key in this culture, where if you do something wrong one time, people will counsel you. Why do you have to continuously do a million things when someone you believe in is doing it for you to feel the same way? Now, I want you to break that down, because I'm talking about simply that you're a certain way and they know you, and anything is counsel culture, but then they've never met someone else, but they've only saw him on TV or on the radio or on a movie or whatnot, but he gets more flexibility than you do, that you interact with this person on an everyday basis and you respect and love, or do you? And if that's the case, why don't your actions show that? And then someone that doesn't know anything about you gets more than that. And I'm gonna give you a real good example. What I usually always use with my friends: you'll go to church on 1 hour a week on Sunday or Saturday, whatever your affiliation is, and whatever God you choose to worship. But that preacher will tell you something to do, and you will do it to the T, whatever he says. And he's talked to you 1 hour, but you will live with someone and they tell you something because you have all these baggage and thought processes. They have to prove to you, but that person doesn't. 1 hour a week. Help me understand that, please. And I think that's a big microcosm of what's happening in America right now when people listen to what they do as far as what they call a leader. And what we want to hold on to is what they call a leader. But the truth is, dig deep and look at it beyond that and help me understand why people do that. Or are they just lazy?
Well, no, it could be a variety of things with that too. So, a way of looking at it is they want validation. A lot of times, you have could be a motive behind it. So when you can be in somebody's presence, on a regular basis, and you're giving them the blueprint, you're giving them, your energy, um, and yet they still don't follow through. And then you could meet somebody that you really don't know, and then actually, like you say, the preacher, you kind of take that and run with it. For one, it could be, again, just they want a validation. However, if the discipline is not there, which is not, because if they was doing it, they would do it. It would vary. They would do it in all areas. So they're gonna just do it in that one department. But when you think about it, it ain't gonna last anyway. It's gonna do it, and he gonna discover the same thing that you discovered, because they'll do it only for a short while, because it's a habit of kind of breaking a word and just really not following through anyway. But they can start out with somebody new with good intentions. So again, I always state, don't get those intentions confused for accomplishments. So they're gonna have the good intentions, but again, the habit that they just not gonna follow through long run. So
Let me ask you three questions. Give me three, no, three questions, three answers. Give me three things good about Donald Trump that he's done or that you've seen that you can point out. Now, I know it's hard in your mind, and anybody else's mind be like, I don't like him. But the reason I'm asking, no, I'm not gonna tell you the reason I'm asking. Just give me three things that's good about it.
well, what I've heard is he done more for black people than any
No,
person.
no, no, no. That's a cop out. That's a cop out.
No, no.
Keep it
Well,
keep it
well,
raw. Keep it raw. This is raw talk, baby. Keep it raw. Three things
absolutely.
that you know. Three things that you know that you believe. If you don't, you don't. But if you can think of three things that this man has done that you believe that are good as a human being.
That was one.
Okay. Two more.
uh,
Real talk.
yeah. Well, I don't have no other way to give it to you. I just got to process it. Kind of, put some thought into it. It's not a lot that I can really come up with because, again, um, it's really not my strong field. So I really I don't know, and that
I was
ain't good.
no,
But
it's
I
not.
don't know.
Well, I learned from a psychologist of mine. She said, "Hey, you go to a debate, and you've studied for what you're supposed to debate about, and then
Right,
now when you get to debate, you got to debate about what they've studied about. So it wakes you up in a lot of ways, even though you don't agree with that person.
right,
I have to know where you're coming from to be able to understand what you're talking about. And
absolutely.
so the truth is, even though I disagree with them wholeheartedly in so many ways, and I absolutely disagree with his mentality, how he communicates. He's not the devil. Whether he's doing what he's doing is ill-fated in his certain ways, I recognize it. And so since I recognize it, then I understand what I'm dealing with. I can be mad at it and be emotional about it and be angry about it, which will do me no purpose but give me ulcers. And I'm already dealing with salt and that's how we die more than anybody else in the world is by salt. So I'm not
Right,
gonna
right.
I'm not gonna add anything else to my black life that's gonna make me die early. So with that being said, I'm just simply saying that this man, we know what we're dealing with, and either we're going to choose to deal with that because that's what people believe or not. But you can't convince me, and I know a lot of white people. I know that they know this dude is out of whack. I know that they know that he's out of control. They'll never tell you. They'll never tell you this, but they know, and they are embarrassed. I'm gonna tell you how I know this. When you hear something on the news and you don't see the picture of the person and you're wishing to God that that person ain't black,
Right.
they do the same thing whenever they hear something about Donald Trump on the news. They ain't gonna admit it to you, but they
Well, how
do it.
many more they gonna do? Because it's been, it's guys on the roll. I
I
mean,
know, I know.
he's on a
Mhm.
roll and ain't nothing being done. He's got all these,
Let me
things
ask
going
you a question.
on. So,
He's what we call, a lot of people will say, the N word, and that's narcissist, not the other N word people. But what I would say to you is the truth is, I think, how hard is it for a man to admit he's wrong when something's going on with his girl?
a man,
Yeah, a man. How hard is it for a man to admit, maybe you're the anomaly, friends of yours, family of members of yours, how hard is it for them to admit when they're wrong?
a mature man, or just a man? Because you
Man,
got some we out in categories here, and
let's say the masses.
some
Let's say
of
the
us
masses. Let's say the masses.
hard. They would they what they would call hard. I would say challenging, because a lot of times it could come with embarrassment. It could be a lot of things
That's
why
real
they
shit
do
right there. That's real
why they
shit right
don't. Yeah, why we want it. They won't express themselves that way. So nevertheless, it can be touchy, but it's challenging for the masses to do that. They have to get caught or some shit. You
So
gotta get.
are the black people and white people and Hispanic people going to vote this term, or what do you think is going to happen? And not only that, do you think we're going to have a COVID-19 response, which means we're going to have a vaccine, or do you think that we're going to play this out because it's going to be black versus white, Republican gets Democrat? We have all these monikers: African American, white, Native American. How do we get these terms? Help me understand that.
Man, well, for the number one, the first question is, yeah, I think we might see some votes come across more this year because I'm doing, I'm definitely reaching out to do more than I did, when it comes down to voting, when I'm talking to individuals. So I know I can make an impact there. So I would say yes to that. Uh, the other question was, what was it about the COVID? Are we gonna get? Is it gonna continue on? We gonna get a? Are we gonna be? They gonna find the cure or whatever? Uh, hmm. I don't know.
I wasn't talking, but let me just go piggyback on that. Even if you find the vaccine, how are you going to walk back the mask? That's a good question, by the way. How are you going to walk back the mask that people are wearing right now that they're getting in fights in stores? And you say, okay, we have a vaccine, we're good. Some
Right,
people are going to say no, some people are going to say yes.
right, right.
How are you going to walk back masks from schools and people that are saying no, I'm not going to send it? And by the way, all y'all people that are looking, I just want y'all to see this real quick. You see that? You see that? You like that, don't you? You like that?
Hey man, I don't think it's going. Even though the fear gonna still be there, and that's where it go to a deeper topic. The way things is playing out. So you're gonna have a lot of people. You're gonna live in fear. We've already started that process. So the more things going to change, the more they're going to stay the same. A lot of people might, drop the ball And that's going to really boil down to when I think you're dealing with different cultures, certain cultures, and this percentage of all of them who are going to keep the mask on no matter. that's that's a new norm for some. For others, they can't wait to drop them. So, and some of us are careless, and some of us, careful. So
So how do you make it okay in the public's mind that I knew that or you knew that there was an AIDS epidemic? You remember when AIDS came out?
I do.
So if I didn't tell you from the month of January to the month of June or July that AIDS was prevalent, how would the people feel about that? And let's take it a step further than that. If we're being honest and raw and real, my friends that I know will be real with me. So I'm gonna ask them that as well as you. What if it was Obama?
He got what? If Obama had what, AIDS?
If he had not told you about an epidemic that was there and he had a conversation with someone that was top official, or not even a top official, but someone that was writing a book. So if he had a conversation with someone that was writing a book, a reporter, a well renowned porter that he was talking to, who else do you think he had a conversation with concerning that? The people that are the most professional in that particular field, they told him they told him what was going on, or he wouldn't have had that information. It's not like he's going to pick up a book and look at the internet and find out what's going on with that actual um, COVID-19. He didn't know anything about it. He was told that. But when he was telling or he was told those things, he's he's taken the lives of people in his hands and saying, what I'm going to divulge to you without allowing you to make a decision for yourself. That's the problem I have the most with. If you have the information and you can make your own decision, that's different than you have no information and you're just going by someone that's leading you as a country. And I think that's disingenuous for someone to say that's okay. I think it's disingenuous for someone to say it's okay for you to talk about people that have lost their lives, protecting your rights as much as you do have.
Well, where did it come from? Let me go back to you when you mentioned AIDS. I remember, I was still living in Waco at the time and getting ready to come up here. But it was this young lady who used to get on the radio, and she was telling everybody she had AIDS. She was gonna be at the concert. She was gonna be everywhere. And and they finally caught up with this young lady. She say she was just doing that. She really didn't have AIDS, but she was trying to make it, uh, make us aware of the AIDS, and it worked. I mean, I paid attention to it. It really changed the game up for a lot of people that I knew. We were like, man, this girl talking about she running around sleeping with people, what I'm saying, with these AIDS. And like I say, when they caught up with her, she said, she was just doing that for to make a point. Now, as far as Obama, if he would have uh, like you asked, if he knew about the AIDS or knew about the COVID and didn't tell nobody, oh yeah, man, well, they've been looking for a tree. Or, get him out of there, just anything, any little crack, they try to throw our way that, they'll get so many opportunities to, to talk about it, lie about it, finesse it, give it alibis. We don't get all those chances like that, So, again, that makes us at the same time more mindful of what's going on and, more resentful. And, a lot of stuff can come out of that, but they damn sure would have been treated differently if he would have known anything about what this boy doing.
So let me ask you this question as well. Go a little bit deeper. Is it more disrespectful that someone like Trump is in office and putting it in your face and saying, I don't give a damn, and people are just reacting to that being themselves? Or would it be better if someone was incognito and not being so vociferous in your face about what's going on and what he can do and what he can't do? Do you appreciate and respect the fact that at least he's being who he is? Or does that make you a little bit more angry about that because you can just think you can do what you want to do in this day and age? Help me understand that.
No, no, no. Ain't no respect nowhere around. No, no, nowhere, nothing out of that. But I rather for the cat. We know where he coming from. I if I know you want to fight, then I can handle that better. So it's not no respect either way, but again, I know how to handle it. Just if I knew a friend that was racial or whatnot, or in my presence, and you hiding it, or whether one's hiding it or the one's straight out, I ain't gonna respect you. Period. So
Could
there's no
he
respect there.
could he get your respect anyway?
Period. No. If
There's
he's
nothing there's
no,
nothing you
no,
do.
we just you go over there. You go over there. I'm gonna go over here. There's uh because you can't be two people. Any person is as trying to be two people. You know, yeah, they all confused. And so when it comes down, when I really need you, I don't need those type of personalities around me. So there ain't no respect, there ain't no disrespect. You just stay over there, and we'll do it like that. But I definitely, if you expose yourself like that, you're gonna do it anyway. You're gonna be exposed. So
Kind of like they say, when things are the worst and when things are the baddest. When
right,
things are against you, you will find out who is with you. And it's not
right,
when things are great and amazing and fantastic that you know who's standing by you. It's the people that stand by you when things are not good, when everybody else is not there. That's the people that you really understand what's there. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, yeah. I ain't like I say, if ain't no respect in there. Well, at least you let me know. No, no, no. I appreciate you letting me know. Uh, However, it's gonna be a rebuttal. we ain't gonna bump heads, but that one time, and then that's after that. That's gonna be dead wood. So
So I got a question for you. And my question, I'm going to jump subjects a little bit from Woodward to, do we really appreciate our lives? So I wanted to ask you a question without the end result. I want to ask you, do you think, and the people that you come in contact with, for the most part, do you think we appreciate our lives? Broad question. I know, not to be
I appreciate
specific.
mine. That's one of the ones I can only speak for me on that, because that's another personal thing. Uh, I could say yes, and then I know some cats that rob cats and do all these different things to cats, and do some reckless things. All I can tell you is I love me. I appreciate everything that I have, and all my energy. So for me, that'd be a yes. Hell yes.
And the reason I asked you that question is because I had a conversation with someone tonight, someone I know for a long, long time. And we have conversation with people that we love and care about, even people that we have fleeting conversations with, associates, whatnot. And we talk about the great things that happen, some minimal things that happen, whatnot. And then we literally bitch about the things, whether it be a bill, whether it be something that's going on with us right now, whether it be a relationship. And so there's some times in life where people come up to you and they say, "Hey, this is what happened to me, and this is what I'm going through." And man, it made me take a step back again. As much as you think again, it makes you take a step back and really understand, and even try to, more than you do, appreciate the people that are around you. And I'll give you an instance what I was referring to. I had a friend of mine that lives in a different state. And I talked to this person for about maybe 8 or 9 years. And so I talked to this person and they were telling me, "Hey, how's life?" And I'm like, "Hey, life is good. This, that, other, blah, blah, blah. My children, amazing. My family, my friends, the things that are around me, everyone that's around me, great, fantastic." And they said to me, "My son died last year." And I thought for a moment in my mind, wow. And I knew the person, the son, and the person that told me. And in my mind, I can't empathize. I can't even imagine. But what I did think about was like how much shit I cry about, whatever word you want to use. not satisfied with, and I don't want to be satisfied. I'm not saying that, but the truth is, there's so much to be thankful for that I think we lose so much of that because we're so inundated with immediate gratification, what we got right now. And if it doesn't look like what we think it should look like, then we're not getting what we should, and we're pissed off about that. And I think that's part of the problem. To be quite honest with you, it made me rethink a lot of things, and I, again, in many instances will always do that, whether it be an accident that may cost you life, whether it be a friend that passed, whether it be you having a child, whether it be positive things or negative things. These things remind you and they're necessary, and hopefully you have people in your life that will remind you of them. I was reminded tonight, and that's why I ask you, do we really appreciate our lives?
Yeah, again, I do. And it's it's easy to get caught up in complaining and whatnot. Again, that's another topic. It's another one that's written. Like the children of Israel. Complaining. Uh, Even when you get some miracles and get some good results, still uh, you give more life to things that don't go well versus things that do go well. What I mean is you kind of you breathe into them when you worry about them. Worrying is a sin. So when you worrying about it, 90% of what you worry about don't even happen anyway. And you can be, like you say, frustrated, heart rate up, head hurting, and still get it resolved. So why not get it resolved without the headache? You know, it's gonna get resolved one way or another. So
Mentality.
yeah, yeah. So I learned, to hey man, access it. And for me, and I'm sure yourself as well, who seek to help others. We have clients or associates. So one of my philosophies is somebody gonna pay for it, and so most of them be financial. When they complaining and whatnot. Then you got others. They don't really much complain about their health. They'll mention and say, "Oh, I need to lose some weight," uh, but really won't take no practical, activity toward that. But the complaining, it's a habit for some of them. They just, they call it venting today. I can draw so many words to go with it, but a lot of people like to vent. And when you vent, you're really not trying to get it resolved. You're just trying to tell somebody, because if you really want to get it, repaired, you just need to speak on it and then act on it. If you vent, then that can last for, oh man, a long time.
Depends on who you vent to, though.
Well, venting is again, venting is something you don't want to get fixed. Venting something you just want to go over.
If you've ever been in a relationship, which I know you have because you've been married like 30 years, um,
Uh,
some,
Almost.
sometimes your wife just wants to talk and vent. She don't need any response from you. You understand and be able to navigate that. But you're able to do that now, which most people are not able to do, even
Right.
in just a relationship as a personal relationship. I don't think that's something that we just have. I think that's something we learn.
Right, right. Well, again, we already evaluated business like water cooler talk. I mean, hey, man, we're really not gonna get that done, though. Hey, but so, and when it boils down to it, we kind of, the Lord said we can have what we say, so we try to say things that we can take practical steps on. Then you got predicaments. So I really don't go over predicaments because I can't fix that. So I like to talk about things we can, take some action toward and kind of make that move from A to B. You can't do that venting. Yeah, me and my wife, she definitely comes on and so how was your day? So we go over, some things, but that is we got that in another category. It's evaluating and inspecting what we expect, and we always celebrate our weekly goals. So
Will
and
you
then
say that again?
we say
Evaluating what you did you say evaluate what you're expecting?
yeah, inspect what we expect. So
Okay.
with some things, just we say, okay, we're gonna get this done, uh, and then we'll follow up with it. Just to make sure that an assurance, accountability partners, things of that such. But venting, not so much in the Harris home. But we do discuss
So
and
so
now.
how do you get to that point? Because I have another friend. You see him now, Chris. He's still here. He's listening. But you guys have that type of relationship with your significant other. Everyone doesn't find that necessarily, but you grow to do that. What is a key for people that are trying to, or maybe at the cusp of what you have or what he has? How do you get to that point where you know, as a man, the man, because the woman is not, the man is the one you have to work on. What do you get as a man where you are at that point where you're still the leader, but at the same time, you're given the flexibility and understanding that, hey, I need you to, and they're accentuating you. It's difficult for a man to do that that doesn't have a template or someone that's taught them that. So since you know, can you help someone that's right there thinking about that and how they navigate that and how you last so long? Since we're talking about that real quick.
Yeah, well, humble, for one, and compromise. When it's all gonna boil back down to personal development. So when we both trying to reach, goals, we put those whys in position, and again, compromise, big time, big time. I ain't the smartest cat I know, so she's my help meet, so I allow her to do that, and I'm in a position to where, like I said, I'm not always right. So when we going over discussing, like I said, I've been, but discussing, what's going on, how can we, better this, and that's when the discussion comes in when we want to figure out how to go from point A to point B. And again, you can't do that bent. Like, oh, the fuck, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on, but we ain't really, taking no uh, accountability on, what made that not work. So compromising, um, and developing, personal development. We both read, the same material, and definitely got to have fun. And put fun with everything you do. Small victories, and continue to win together for
Can you
the
do that
team.
with a stranger?
Can you do that
Which
with a stranger?
which you
Yes, you
disagree
can do
with?
that.
If there was a
Can
Trump
you-
supporter, could you do the same thing with a Trump supporter that disagreed with you?
If you are congruent, and if it's a connection,
Break that down,
yeah,
please.
well, just say perception is going to always play a part. So you can read the book, I can read the book, but I didn't get that right now. However, but I'm still seeking to get it, uh, because I don't listen to respond, I listen to understand. So when it comes down to perceptions, uh, I got to understand that you might reach that faster than I. But if I'm still, we congruent, even though we different, you know, it's gonna make an attraction. It's gonna work out. If
Oh
there's
my
no
God.
attraction,
You said,
first you got
you
to be an attraction.
you said
And
something
you and
that was
I,
so amazing. You said
yeah,
something. I gotta stop. You said something that was so amazing, and it may be fleeting to a lot of people that may be listening, but hopefully when they listen again, they hear what you just said. I'm going to repeat it, and it's including myself, something I continuously work on. I think we always have to. I don't think we ever master that, but that's just based on my experience. But when you say, I seek to learn, not to just hear, to understand, not to just hear. If you're seeking to understand where someone's coming from, if you're seeking to understand their perspective, where they're coming from, how they feel like they feel, even
right.
if you don't agree with it, even if you don't like it, even if you think for they're crazy and it's a shit show, that has nothing to do with you. That has everything to do with them and you just appreciating how they feel and saying, okay, I may disagree with you 100%, but I'm gonna hear what you have to say and I'm gonna process that. And even if I don't agree, I just don't agree, but I'm still gonna process what you have to say. And that's all anybody wants, to be honest with you, just to really have someone to understand, appreciate what you're saying, even if
Yeah,
you
well,
disagree.
yeah, yeah, and again, it's perceptions. And again, you know, uh, I can sit right next to you in the class with, I don't know, you with Martin Luther King. I still might didn't get that. Not at that, not in that instance. So and that's when it comes in to where I don't have to disagree with them. I just say, well, that's a way of looking at it. But if I'm seeking to get it, I will. Now, how fast a person gets it, that's something we can't control there. But again, if you're seeking to get it, I don't have to disagree with anyone because it's perceptions. And I'm like, well, I didn't look at it like that because a lot of times, just maybe, man, 90% of the times, man, what I know, got from maybe guys like yourself, other individuals, mentors I can point out, who I just didn't think about it like that. I got maybe 10%, I'm astute at and can put it together. But for the most part, I'm looking for someone like again, like yourself. So I can work with anybody who, as long as we can grow it. And you like to have fun, and you got a why in place. You gotta have a why in place. It can't just be for no money. So a lot of that I get dealing with you. So I mean, just life is a storyteller.
Well, as we are about to end this podcast, I told him I was going to keep it to 30 minutes or an hour or less. I'm going to ask you a couple of fire round questions, and you just tell me what you think off the top of your mind, if you don't mind. About 5 or 6 questions. You ready?
Shoot.
Sunday night, Cowboys, do they win? And if so, how much? And if they lose, how much?
If they prepared, who they playing?
They're playing the Rams at
No,
Rams.
no, they
And
might lose.
what's the score?
Uh, maybe 21 to 17.
Will there anything else come up in this next week that Trump has done that someone's going to leak?
Possibly.
Mm-mm, 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 mm-mm,
Yeah.
mm-mm. What do you think? Even if you got to guess at it, what do you think?
Well, I think it's already it's in the bag. Just who gonna open it up? They already
Will
know what they got, man. These people ain't looking up under the bed all of a sudden. I mean, they already got it. It's just hey man, it's taking it's a process to put that stuff out. So it's
Will,
one of those things again. I don't have time to study that, but I would say yeah.
are you happy with Joe Biden?
About what?
Anything? Are you happy with him? Period. As your candidate?
As a candidate? Well, yeah, yeah, yeah. As a candidate, being that when it comes down to
Not
it,
not 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 because he's against Trump.
oh
No, no,
no,
that's
no, you said that.
okay.
I was just saying who of his association, and that's coming from that Obama crew, just like his pedigree. So again, he still got to prove what he got to do. That alone just don't cut it with a lot of us brothers. That don't cut it. So but he do get some points.
So a question I asked some of my white friends about my black friends, and I'm gonna ask some of my black friends about my white friends. If you could tell a white guy or a woman, let me get this back on. If you could tell a white guy or a white woman something that they can do that would ease your reception, your receptors of information that you say to them to hear what you're going through, kind of like when a woman's talking to a man and she's trying to explain to him what she's going through, and it's very difficult because we're hard-headed, we don't want to hear it, but then eventually they say something that resonates with us and we're like, okay, I hear you. What can someone say to you or exemplify to you that make you say, okay, I know you hear me, if there's such a thing? That's a tough question, by the way. I know,
Well,
I know,
well, if
but
you
they're listening. They're
if
listening.
yeah, and for me, if you movies put it in a movie script, you can't catch me at all. It's just gonna be a spontaneous thing. I don't know what you can say to me. Just be kind to me like I would be to you. And other than that, I ain't asking for nothing. Uh, Nothing other than what I accept, and that's respect. And whatever you want in life, give it. So there's nothing they really can say to me that'll trigger that. I'll being that I'm a generous individual and a humble man. I'll know because again, it's a feeling. It's come from my heart. It come from their heart. So if they genuine, you can't trick. You just can't. You can't 42 the streets. So that's where I come from. So and I'm neutral, very neutral. So again, I'm a studying, developing individual, and that's a people. So it's a lot of things I don't know how to do, but I do know people. So ain't nothing really they can really say, uh, not unless it comes from the heart, and that'll come out spontaneously.
I agree with that 100%. I will end it by saying this, that uh, the fact that we disagree on a lot of things in a lot of situations and circumstances um, allows us to grow, but we have to be able to receive information just like we're able to give information. A lot of times, as a man, it's very difficult for us to do. I know I'm stubborn as more than most, but continuously I learn because there's a lot of things I think I know that I don't. And so that's an evolving process. And if you're not evolving, then you're absolutely going backwards because you're not standing still. So the people that I have around me, I want them to
Absolutely.
accentuate me and call me on that and say, hey, you're not, hey, think about this. And I have both from every size, from white, Hispanic to black, that say, hey, no, man, you need to think about this. And I have to take the step back to listen to it. And that's tough, especially when you think you know everything. And be honest with you, I do. But the truth is,
Now,
I'm
I
hearing
can
y'all
dig,
though.
I can
I'm
dig
hearing
it.
y'all. That's called growth. That's called growth. And the truth is,
Absolutely.
if I'm able to grow, then I have hope. And hope is all you can really look forward to because you can't control anything outside of yourself. And that's all I want to control, to be quite honest with you. And whatever
Yeah,
happens past that is what it is. Have some great friends, some great family members, some great associates and friends to be, you included. I appreciate you joining me tonight, and we will do this again. And the people that are listening, any questions or comments, but I want you to do one favor for me: like, subscribe, tell your friends to like and subscribe, tell your family members to like and subscribe,
right.
tell people you don't know like and subscribe. That man that you see at the corner that you gave $5 to, turn on your cell phone and go to D Mainstream and let him subscribe for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All day, every day. Hey, we're trying to make this thing happen every day, all day long, because we're not sitting still. And the people that know understand because you think the
Absolutely.
same way. I will always enjoy your input. I will always appreciate you coming back, Mr. Sam, and my friends all around the Metroplex. I love what you have to say. You're very sharp catch. You have great integrity. And I need to know more because I don't know everything. And the things I do know, I still question that too. And that's the only way I'm going to become better. So
Well,
I
thanks
want
for
to tell
having me,
you,
sir.
absolutely, brother. And hey, till the next time, everyone out there, hey, be amazing to people. Hey, tomorrow when you get up and you go out into the public, change somebody's life in some kind of way. You never know what that may be. That may be just saying hello to them, but do something. Don't just be someone that just stands still and takes up space because that's not who you are. Much love. D Main Street,
Bless,
baby.
bless.